everyone, still here, and welcome back to High Intensity Business, your one-stop shop for growing your hit business and fueling your passion for high-intensity training. This is a continuation, I don't know why I accentuated that word so much, of part one of my podcast with Dave Bess and how to do high-ticket sales. It's just about how to add high-ticket sales to your hit business. But even if you're not into high-ticket, there's some great sales tips here on selling the vacation, which is the part of the pitch, regardless of what you're selling, high-intensity training, other services, where you're talking about your program, but you want to talk about it in a certain way for it to actually be effective in the sales dynamic and close the sale. So obviously, returning to the podcast to teach us more about this is Dave Bess. Dave is the co-founder of Underground Fitness and later launched PT Legends and Greenlight Personal Training. Dave, welcome back. Great to see you.
Buddy, it's always a pleasure. This is always one of the highlights of my month when we get to hang out for an hour.
Yes. You are too kind. That's a very lovely thing to say. The feeling is mutual. You have great energy as always. So obviously we did a podcast already where we talked about selling high ticket, and we're kind of like moving on with that now. And yeah, in that last podcast, we kind of talked about really doing a discovery call, understanding in depth the prospect's problems, and then kind of recapping it back to them, the monster recap, all of that. And you went into a great deal of detail. So we'll link to part one, or if you just search on highintensitybusiness.com, high ticket sales, Dave Bess, or Dave Bess, it will just come up. So I'll hand over to you. I know you want to share your screen, and we'll get into pitching the program with convictions. This is after you've done the recap back to the prospect, and now it's ready to pitch your program. Yeah.
Pitching the program is the fun part, right? So like, I'm going to put an asterisk into like this pitch framework. It's fantastic. With that being said, you have to do your job all the way up into that pitch. You could have the best pitch in the entire world. You could sell the vacation, but if you haven't pulled out the client's either their desire or their pain, it does not matter how well you pitch your program. So keep in mind, guys, like that first, let's just say 90% of the process from the discovery call all the way through the monster recap, the only thing you're doing is you're making the conversation about that, right? It's not about you. It's not about your program. It's about their story, their struggles. Where do they want to go on the journey? The only thing that you're doing when you're pitching your program is you're connecting the dots. I feel where a lot of us go wrong, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus. For years, I really focused what we did as kind of the pitch, right? It's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to custom design you some macro routines. You're going to come to the gym, personalized workouts. Okay? Personalized. These are going to be personalized for you. You're coming in. It's not an F45. So it's all about me. So the way that I want to go over the framework, guys, on the pitch, it needs to be a story for them, right? Their specific situation. It can't just be all of the nuts and the bolts and, what your program consists of. I want to start this podcast off. I was in a sales mastermind. This is probably about 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, and we're in a kind of a group huddle. I was with this group for about, a good year and a half. And so this is probably week 40 into the program. And we were going through the way that we pitched our program. Okay. So very similar to what we're going over today. And there was a gentleman, Joe from Canada, who was on there, and he had, I think it was like a carpet. He sold carpet or something. So it was like, bottom line is he went through his pitch, and I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not DMing anyone. And, Joe goes through his pitch, and then Joe, who led the call, he's like, Dave, how did both guys named Joe? How did he do? And he did fantastic. And he said, name one thing about his program or what he does. And I couldn't. And that was this light bulb moment that I had that, man, if we just go through the features, right? That client just kind of glazes over. They don't really care at the end of the day, like what our workouts look like. They don't care what, nutrition and accountability. We're all selfish at the end of the day. What's in it for them? So it's very important, guys. With the big takeaway I want you to get from this podcast is pitching your program. It has to be about them, their struggles. Where do they want to go? That's how you can keep them engaged in the entire conversation when going over the details of your program. Does that make sense, Morris? Is that something that
it does.
It's like feature pitching? It's like, we do this, we do that.
Oh, I'm the worst. I'm terrible at this. I tend to think I'm quite good at sales, but like this is definitely one of my weaknesses. This and probably objection handling. I'm just too soft. Yeah, but like I do struggle with this one a little bit. I mean, even when Alex Hormozy talks about it, like sell their vacation, it's like, but is that all you say? Is that you get to start the vacation, you just say like, and then I've heard, I've actually been looking online. Where does he elaborate on that aspect?
Ah.
You know, and I've heard him say like he might sell the vacation, you know, you're not, the reason he says it like that is because you're not selling the, you know, going to the airport, going through security, getting your badge checked and all the painful parts. You're just selling getting to Maui or Jamaica or whatever it is. And so I get that. It's like, you know, with fitness, you're selling, hey, you're going to be like, you know, this much stronger, or you're going to be like this much leaner, or feel this much better, or whatever it is. But then I think the way he does it is like a few bullets, like, you know, he'll mention accountability, personal training, nutrition, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm really, I'm digressing. I'm really curious how you say it or present it, because this is very interesting to me. And really hope the listeners pay attention here, because this is really important. When we get to the console, whatever it is, discovery call, whatever you're selling your personal training services or high ticket or other, being able to do this well is like huge, right? So, and sorry, one last thing. It's so tempting. We're all terrible at this, to talk too much and go on and on and on and on and on about your features and benefits. And like you say, they glaze over, and it's like, it can kill the sale. So anyway, enough from me, over to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I put my guys, the gym owners who we coach through, we have our 8-week program, and about week 4 or 5 is where we start like putting together and customizing their pitch, their story. I put them on the time clock. So I'm like, if your pitch is longer than 3 minutes, we're starting over again. So like, you nailed it. It's keeping that thing tight. 2 to 3 minutes, you're in, you're out. Because keep in mind, guys, if you did your job the first 3/4 of the consult, like, you made the sell. The second that you give them that monster recap and you tell them the story back to them, they're like, heck yeah, sign me up. So the longer we delay that ask, the more they forget about that emotional conversation that they just had, you know, legitimately like 2 to 3 minutes. So my first pitch ever, my first high ticket pitch, it was, did I tell you the story? My first high ticket pitch ever? This is
maybe
story. This is awful.
Yeah,
so met a guy on LinkedIn. He had an alien as his profile photo. So probably not the most qualified. I got jacked up, excited. It was my first, you know, high ticket conversation. I was going to sell my executive transformation program. First probably 60 minutes of the conversation. I mean, it was going pretty solid. Then I had to start pitching the program. Lawrence, it took me 35 minutes to pitch the program. I was terrified. I didn't have any framework. Like, I didn't know what to say. And so then I just got into feature selling. I got to the end. Hey, the investment to the program is $5,000. He laughed and hung out. So
no way.
Yeah.
So after a 90-minute conversation.
I was like, I'm not paying $5,000, man. It just goes to show you, like, man, it can be hard to maintain that conviction and tell someone about your program. So let's get tactical here. I'm gonna share with you guys the exact framework that I teach to the gym owners who we mentor on how to talk about your program and making it more about them, not about yourself. So I'm gonna share the screen. Lawrence, can you see this? See the screen as I'm getting ready?
I can see it. Yep. Yeah.
Excellent.
Your desktop is legendary.
Well, it's awful. That's what we was talking about at the top. Like I got to have this screen up before we present, because otherwise, people are like, what the hell's wrong with this guy's desktops? Guys, frameworks. I'm the biggest fan of frameworks in the world. Perfect pitch framework. There's 4 parts to it. Okay. Now this one is specifically for the high ticket pitch. We're going to transition and we're going to just talk about selling your training only. You can utilize this framework. Where I want to start today's conversation, though, is the high ticket pitch. Okay. So parts of it, the Epiphany Bridge story. Okay. Pillars of your program. Some people like to call it the uniques of your program. I'm a big fan. I like to talk about the secret sauce when talking about the mentorship. And then there's the yes prescribed questions. So 4 parts to this framework. Okay. So Epiphany Bridge story, old way versus new way. So the story that I'm going to tell you guys is my own personal story, the way that I used to pitch this program back at my underground fitness studios. Like, once we introduced our high ticket program, this is the framework, this is the exact framework that we utilized. So I like to say, Lawrence, I was a gym owner from, I guess, 2013 to 2019, and we did 2 things. Okay. We kicked people's butts 3 to 4 hours a week in the gym. Okay. And we custom designed some macronutrients plans on, MyFitnessPal, and collected a lot of 5-star reviews, built an amazing community, had a great staff. But we noticed this trend that someone would go through our program, and for whatever reason, we would part ways, and I would run into them at Costco or Target. And the vast majority of the time, that client wouldn't just take one step back, they would take 2 or 3 steps back. And that's when we had this I had this lightning bolt moment where I realized there had to be more to what we do than just counting people's reps and giving them meal plans. So that's the first half right there of my Epiphany Bridge story. Now, keep in mind, guys, most people that we're talking with, especially if the goal is body composition, that's their story too. They've done the workouts, they've counted their calories, and what's happened? They've lost the same 5 to 10 pounds over and over and over on repeat. So that's my version of my Epiphany Bridge story. Gym owners we work with, their Epiphany Bridge story, that's all going to be different. We can get a little bit tactical in this podcast too, Lawrence. We can even talk about the high intensity training Epiphany Bridge story too.
That's cool. Yeah.
Does this make sense though? Like
this is great.
So new way, what we landed on, it's life outside of the gym matters just as much or maybe even more than the life that you spend inside of the gym. So what we landed on is we have to work with our clients to build out a lifestyle when they're not with us. And we have to parlay that with the fact that we're just not going to build the plan and say, good luck. You're going to have a guide with you on the journey. Then what we've landed on is like, if you come for your workouts, if we build you a lifestyle and you have a coach that's walking with you on the journey, that's when we can truly, take the bull by the horns and change your life. So that's the Epiphany Bridge story. So stories sell. So if you notice, I didn't jump right into, this is what our workouts look like. This is what our nutrition looks like. This is what our accountability.
Yeah.
Told that story, but that story, it connects. 9 times out of 10, the Epiphany Bridge story is going to be very similar to what the prospect has tried in the past. I wanted to kind of hit the pause button. I want to talk about how to do the Epiphany Bridge story for high intensity training gyms. Okay.
Go for it. Yeah. Sounds great.
Let's stop there. Then we'll get into the pillars. So answer this question, Lawrence, for the majority of our high intensity training gym owners. Okay. What % of them started off with high intensity training being like the delivery of workouts? Didn't most of them start?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd say like 90%, 95%.
Love it. Yeah. Perfect. So we're going to put you on the spot, Lawrence. Prior to high intensity training, what did your delivery of workouts look like? Like, what was your old way of doing business prior to figuring out the most efficient solution in the world?
I'd have to be talking about myself then. Like, cause my own personal workouts for myself. Cause I did it from a business point of view. Cause I started with HIIT. Yeah. I actually a really authentic story about this. Mine was, hey, I was training, 8 to 10 times a week, doing strength training, cardio, interval training, basketball. I was fatigued. I was too skinny. I had no time for social, business, career, anything. Yeah.
Perfect. That's the
perfect. Pretty miserable. That is legit true. Yes.
Yes. You feel like you're excited you get about that? Like when someone comes into the studio, guys, they have no idea that they only need, 60 to 90 minutes a week. So connecting that to your story right out of the game, but I'll be honest with you. Like I used to think I had to invest my entire life into the gym and nutrition if I wanted to see results. So, I would spend 3 to 4 hours a week or 8 training sessions, doing X, Y, and Z. And what I realized was that's just not sustainable. And so that's when, boom, your new way. What does your life look like now, Lawrence, from switching over to high intensity training? What is that new way? What does that look like?
Yeah. So no word of a lie. I went from doing all of that. I don't do this now. I do like a tiny, tiny bit more, but I went to doing Doug McGuff's 10-minute workout, 12-minute workout from Body by Science, right? So it was like, I was doing big 5, but then I quickly went to like big 3, big 2. So my workouts were like nothing. And I was doing that once a week. And I was still playing basketball maybe like once a week, but it's like a massive reduction in overall volume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. What was the result? What was the result? What was the result?
Yeah. I mean, I have like this, my whole about page on the site about this, if you have to dig to find it, but basically like everything improved. Like, there's like a really interesting trajectory where like I meet my now fiance, during that process, because suddenly I had more time and energy for all that stuff. My career takes off. I started the podcast around that time, but
Yeah.
high intensity business, everything tracks. With having, and I started looking better and feeling better. Obviously, I put on weight, stuff like that. I had time for other things. So yeah, everything tracked in the right direction. It was great. Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you, Lawrence, is like your performance went up, your body composition improved, but more importantly, you had time to invest in the aspects of your life that matters more than anything fitness. Is that what I'm hearing from
Yeah.
you?
Yep. And absolutely. 100%.
That's a perfect Epiphany Bridge story. And I would say, what percentage of our listeners right now, Lawrence, is that their story? It's like,
Yeah, I'd say most of them have that story where they went from high volume to hit, and it's a similar, thing. So I think a lot of them can relate to that.
so can you see, Lawrence, how the end user right there, how they're going to stay engaged in that story instead of
So
saying,
even though you're telling it about yourself, you think it's just as effective when doing
oh
the
yeah,
Epiphany Bridge. Okay,
100%, because it connects to their story too. Because keep in mind, in the first 90% of the consult, what did you pull out of the prospect? Is, man, they don't have enough time. They think they have to, breed them. So it's their story too, like your Epiphany Bridge story. And there's going to be different versions of the Epiphany Bridge story too. But for the most part, you just giving them that 60-second soapbox on like, hey, here's how this came to be. The client's going to see very engaged.
Yeah. If you don't have a personal story, you can use a case study, right? You can use a client. Hey, Sandra you take the avatar that's closest related to the prospect, right? And then you just tell the same story, right? And you obviously you have to be honest about it. You can't make it up.
Correct. If
Super
I'm talking
important.
to a mom, if I was talking to a mom back in the day at the studio when I used to sell, it was my mom's Epiphany Bridge story.
Got it. Yeah.
And her Epiphany Bridge story was like, she thought she had to like eliminate all foods and she had to do a ton of cardio and go to the gym every single day to see weights. And guess what? My mom struggled with her weight her entire life. So she actually went through our 63-day transformational program to where we made food fun for her. We got her into walking. I followed up with her every single week. And over the course of 63 days, she lost 20 pounds. So like, that's legitimately my mom's story. And so that's how I want you guys to start off your pitch, is by telling a story. That's what's going to really capture your guest, your prospect's attention. From there, guys, you're going to go into the pillars of your program. Okay. So Lawrence, I'm guessing probably every single person listening, high intensity training is going to be a pillar of the program, correct? Like, do they call that strength training? Like, what do people like? What is the pillar for most of our listeners out there?
Well, this is usually put slightly differently. If, for instance, so a lot of our members and listeners would be familiar with like EOS, 3 Uniques, right? Entrepreneur Operating System. So they would have, so like strength training or personalized strength training would be like the core focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the niche that they operate in? And then the 3 Uniques would be something like always efficiencies in there, right? 30-minute workout, whatever. Safety.
Love it.
Can often be one.
Love it.
Another one would be evidence-based or expert trainers. Let's say those 4 are like the most common, and they'll be like, people use different words and synonyms for the same kind of thing.
I love it. I love it. So the R3 at Greenlight are going to be the efficiency. Okay. So it's efficiency. You're in and out 30 minutes, 2 times a week. It's safe. And our third one is effective. So like kind of our tagline is better results in half the time. Then we back that up with like, oh, by the way, take a look at our binder of all these clients who cut back their training by 75, 80% and take a look at their stories. Like, you're going to see better results at the time. So those are our 3 uniques. Now, here's what's really fun, guys. For our, let's just take Greenlight, for example. Our avatar client, what is it? It's the busy parent over 35. Okay. So their number one bottleneck, and it's not even close in life, the reason that they're not focusing on their fitness is why? It's time. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. And you've had that first 75% of the conversation, it was around they're overwhelmed, they're stressed, they're in survival mode. Like, they can't, like most moms out there, like, I can't make any time to go to the gym, Dave, right? So I'm not just saying, oh, this is a very time efficient. I'm connecting that to their story. So let's just say, for example, Lawrence, let's say that you come into the studio, you're this busy dad and you're a podcaster, right? And let's say it's old Lawrence that in your head, man, you think that you have to come into the gym. What'd you say? 8 training sessions a week was her? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't all gym-based stuff. That was like exercise commitments, you know?
Love it. So I would bring that story right into the efficiency. So I'm not just saying, oh, this is the most time efficient solution in the world. I'd be like Lawrence, like right now, brother, you're starting a podcast. You're getting ready to launch your flagship program in your school community, right? It's like you have the little ones that you're juggling. And honestly, man, the old way you used to train, you're in the gym for, 8, 10 training sessions every single week. Like, is there any world, man, where you can consistently, sustainably make it to the gym 8 to 10 times a week? And you're going to say no.
Not so much. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what we focus on at Greenlight. 2 30-minute strength training sessions, you're in and out. If there's seasons in your life where you can push it for that third workout, great. But what we're going to ask you to commit to is for 2 30-minute training sessions, and we're checking off all the boxes. You're getting in your strength training, okay? You're going to get your heart rate up. If you want to do some things outside of the gym, we call it our Fit in 15. So we're going to ask you to move your body with intention for 15 minutes a day, but we're going to cut back your training hours from 8 to 10 sessions to 2 30-minute sessions. Can you see how, well, let me ask you a question. Is that a model that you can follow for the next 30, 40 years of your life?
Yep.
Perfect. That's how I'm describing the efficiency. Safety. Most of our clients who are coming in, guys, like, Lawrence, would you say like kind of like typical avatar out there for most high intensity training gyms is going to be probably that busy professional, busy parent over the age of 35, 40? Is that kind of
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's accurate enough. Yeah.
They're not 20-year-old. They can't.
No, they've had injuries. They've got aches and pains. Yeah.
100%. So I'm going to bring those aches and pains into that portion of events. Typically, everyone's got a bad back, right? So I'll bring that like, Lawrence, right now you said you had an achy back. So the way that we're going to build your training program, it's going to be every single set, every single rep that you do in here is going to be with purpose and awareness. So we're going to go slow. We're going to go controlled. Therefore, you don't have to go see your chiropractor or physical therapist every other week. Does that make sense?
This is great. I love how you relate each unique back to what you've learned about them. This makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So you see, I'm still talking about, I'm just connecting it to, because that's the only way, guys, that you can keep them engaged. Otherwise, these are time efficient workouts and they're going to be safe and they're going to be effective. They're like, oh, that's cool. But now I'm talking to your story.
Yeah.
Had that achy knee, had that bad back. Well, guess what? We're going to put together a program, a strategy for you to where you're not going to be put on the shelf. Because we already pulled out of you, your number one driving force is to spend more present, active time with your kids. We're going to keep you safe in here. Okay, sign me up for that. And then our effective is better results in half the time. That's where we'd bring out that case study. It could be Adam. It could be Lindsay. You remind me so much of our client, Adam, who's a busy professional. He's on the road. He's cut his training hours back from 5 hours a week to 60. Take a look. He's already lost 4 inches around his midsection. His strength is 10 out of 10. And he's like, Dave, you gave me my life back because I get to spend more time with my kids. Check out Adam's story. So if I'm selling Heinz just the training, guys, that's all I'm telling them right there. Because I just checked off 3 boxes. They're like, holy crap, I'm going to see better results in half the time. Okay. I'm going to stay safe. That means I can do this thing forever. And I get time back in my life. From there, you guys don't need to tell them anything more about your program. If you're only selling training and training only, that is that perfect pitch framework. It's like, and let's just take this, Lawrence. I know we're kind of gunslinging it right now.
It's fine. That's great.
The secret sauce to the program, right? Like in our mentorship, we really lean on the fact you're not going to be alone in the journey. Okay. What is, Lawrence, what would the secret sauce be for a high intensity training gym? Like what does that studio do better than any other studio in the world? How would you answer that question?
Dave, you really put me on the spot during this podcast.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think we've already said it because I think that the training methodology is so unique and it is the secret sauce, right? Probably be intensity. It would be intensity. Yeah.
Okay. How would you frame that?
Like how you would be careful to use that word because that scares people. Something to do with high effort, because obviously the brevity and low frequency can only be afforded due to the high intensity of efforts. And you could, I don't know, momentary fatigue, that's probably too technical. But yeah, just high effort, pushing hard for a brief amount of time. I don't know how might you put that in more flowery, attractive language.
Yeah. I think the secret sauce is.
Okay, go on.
This is a model, high intensity training that someone can not just do for the next 90 days, 180 days. I personally believe is the only model out there that someone can follow through for the rest of their life. They can
I
see
agree, but
results.
I thought we already addressed that with the safety.
We did, but like I'm wrapping this thing all
Okay. Yeah.
like our program at Greenlight is our Fit Forever program, right? Here's what I believe. If we can get every single human being in the world doing 2 time efficient workouts, and I'm not even talking about the mentorship and the nutrition. Holy crap, man, that can absolutely, how many lives would that change? Just focusing
Yeah, I
on,
like that. So you're focusing on, you're talking about, because we all know that it's all about consistency. And this is the only thing that a lot of people could do consistently for their lifetime. That's what you're saying.
that's
Yeah.
how we sell it at Greenlight. And keep in mind, most of the
Right.
time we are pairing it up with nutrition, but if we're just selling
Yeah.
training, right, like, hey, the secret to this program is you're just not going to do it for the next 4 weeks, the next 8 weeks. It's our goal in here that this is a program that you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Today's episode is sponsored by Imagine Strength, the game changer in safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training machines. When it comes to HIIT, Imagine Strength is your go-to for intelligently designed, efficient, and affordable equipment. Their team is passionate about HIIT, and it shows in every piece they craft. So why are Imagine Strength the right choice? Number 1, they tailor-make their equipment for HIIT studios. Number 2, they provide cost-effective solutions for your business. And number 3, they are committed to ongoing innovation and refinement. Ready to take your HIIT business to the next level? Visit imaginestrength.com to discuss your needs and find the perfect gear for your studio. Join the HIIT revolution of Imagine Strength and transform your workout experience today.
You're going to be 30-minute sessions for the rest of your life. At that point in time, the only thing I'm going to ask them is the yes questions. So before I tell them about the investment, there's always 2 questions I ask. My 2 questions I ask is, do you believe? Lawrence, can you see?
Sorry, can I just part this? Will you, does this differ if it's low ticket versus high ticket? And if so, how?
It doesn't. Now keep in mind, we kind of, for today's conversation, the way that we're talking right now, this is how I would just sell the training only portion of it.
Got it. Got it.
I would go through the Epiphany Bridge story of like, hey, this is the way that I used to look at fitness, similar to you. I used to think I had to, invest hour after hour, week after week in the gym. And there would be certain seasons in my life where I could do it. But then there would be certain seasons in my life where everything would fall apart. What I landed on is, and it took me years to find, is a more efficient way to train to where I could be in and out of the gym in 30, 60, 90 minutes a week and to achieve all of my goals. And that's how we landed on this model. So I'm selling your program right now. So there's 4 things that we do the best in the world, okay? It's, number 1, it's about efficiency. You're a busy professional. You have 2 little ones at the house. There's not a world where you're going to be able to train 3 to 4 to 5 hours a week, okay? With our model, you're going to be in here for 2 30-minute sessions. You're in, you're out. We're going to check off all your boxes. You're going to get in your weight training, okay? The second thing that it's going to do is it's going to be safe. You already mentioned that you had, 2 inky knees. You've done CrossFit in the past. You've hurt your back. Safety is our number 1 priority. Every single time that you're in here, we're going to be performing every set, every single rep with purpose awareness. So you're not going to get injured and have to, go see your physical therapist multiple times a week. The big thing is all this is fun. It's got to produce results. Our tagline is you're going to see better results in half the time. You're going to get stronger. You're going to lose body composition. You're going to change your body composition. And if you need stories, we have a full binder. You've already checked us out on social media. And then maybe insert Adam's story, Lindsay's story, whoever you're talking to. At that point in time, the secret sauce to the program, you're not just going to do this for the next 4 to 8 weeks. This is a model, and this is why we built it. This is something that you can follow through with when you're 50, when you're 60, when you're 70, when you're 80 years old. It's our goal that this is the cornerstone that you're going to build the rest of your life on. Can you see, Lawrence, how 60 minutes a week coming in here, checking off that box, can you see how it is a program that you can follow through with over the long haul, not just the next 4 weeks? Because I can see that. You see it.
Oh, yeah.
And my question to you is, are you going to put in the work? Like, I'm not Wahlberger at, F45. What I'm going to ask you to do is, can you commit week over week to 60 minutes a week?
Yes.
I got my 2 yeses. So then from there, guys, I'm transitioning to
I should hardball it a little bit, shouldn't I?
you understand. Here's the thing. I've never heard someone say no to those questions. Like, hey, can you, because why? Because when you speak from a place of conviction, they're always going to say yes. Or if you get that, like, oh, I just don't know, then I'm going to pull out some more testimonials. I'm not going to tell them the investment to the program until I get them to say, I believe in what you're doing. I believe in the program. I believe in the workout. I believe in the model. And I'm going to put in the work. I'm not going to sell that program to anyone that doesn't believe and is willing to put in the work. So what I found, guys, if I get those 2 yeses, how easy is it for me then to transition into amazing, Lawrence, you're a perfect fit for what we do. Let's get you going with our X, Y, and Z program. You're going to commit to 2 training sessions and the investment is X number of dollars per week.
Got it.
If I was just selling workouts and workouts only, I just put together my perfect pitch of just if we just sold workouts at Greenlight. Does this make sense, Lawrence? If we get to
no, it does. No, this is great. This is great. I think there's so many golden nuggets you dropped during this that people can use to like upgrade or modify their existing introductory workout process. I'm certainly taking things away. No, it's great. It's great. And I hope that's the mindset I think everyone has to have going into this. Like, if you're not interested in high ticket, you're just looking at your own sales process for your personal training, then see where this can just make little upgrades on your process and make you more effective and increase your conversions. So.
And the only difference, guys, here, like when I'm going into like our mentorship where we're focusing on life outside of the gym, the Epiphany Bridge story is a little bit different because I'm saying like the secret is life outside of the gym, building a lifestyle around this, right? Yeah. And not just that, but having the guide to go with you on the journey. That's where everyone is shaking their head. The pillars are going to be exactly the same. We're still going to go through our kind of fitness. So we're still always going to talk about the efficiency, the safety, the effectiveness of the workout. But that's when at Greenlight, this is what we tell everybody about nutrition. Lawrence, you're going to kind of laugh because it's like with the way that a 3-year-old would describe nutrition. We're going to build you out a plan, Lawrence, that's fun, that's flexible, that's built around your family and friends so you can do it forever. It's the only thing we tell them about nutrition.
I love that.
We don't go into any of the details at all. It's like, hey, we're going to work with you. Lawrence, you've done keto, you've done South Beach, you've done Andy Priscilla 75 hard. That's not the way we view nutrition in here. So that's how I would connect it to the story. We're going to sit down and build out a program that's fun, that's flexible, that includes your 2 boys and your amazing wife. So you guys can follow through on this thing, not just for the next 8 weeks, but for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And our secret sauce, what we talk about at Greenlight, is the mentorship angle. So you're not going to be alone on the journey. And we like to say in today's world that we're living in, especially if we're talking to that busy mom, right? Most moms that come in, they feel like they're alone on the journey.
Yeah. Well, they've lost their sense of identity and all of that because of what they've been through as a parent and all that stuff. Yeah.
So the secret sauce to any mentorship program, guys, are probably our most successful PT legend gym owner we've ever worked with, Shannon Logan. Her tagline is this slide right here. We're going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. She's probably sold $2 million worth of high ticket programs, and she finished off every pitch. Her avatar was that busy mom over the age of 35. She's not selling a fitness program at that point. It's like, you're on with you on the journey. I'm going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. Can you see how going through the next 63 days, working on you, you're going to find yourself again? Yes. Okay. Second question, are you going to put in the work? I'm not going to ask you to be perfect, but are you going to bring me 80% compliance week over week for the next 9 weeks? Yeah. Amazing. The investment into the program is $3,000, $4,000. Are you ready to move forward? So,
and is that how you say it? The investment to the program is X. I like that. That's exactly how you word it. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of depends, right? Like for let's just say this can be a completely different podcast. There are tactics and strategies too that we teach that maybe that person, they're not a perfect fit for the mentorship program. Okay. Let's just say hypothetically, high intensity gym owners are like, man, I really want to have this high ticket program. I think we talked about this on previous podcasts. The vast majority of people coming in, they're probably not the best fit for the mentorship program from day one. I almost like to say they have to qualify. They have to show up for their training workouts. Like they have to be consistent with the workouts before we even offer the mentorship program. But we always tell them on a high level, that we have this mentorship program and this is what it looks like. So even if we're selling more of our mid-ticket program or training only program, we're still telling them about the mentorship program, but then we're taking it away from them. So
But it's more like anchoring / the odd person who says, well, hey, what's that?
100%. What we tell everyone about it. So let's just say that you came in, Lawrence, and like after talking with you, your best starting point is training only. So I would still, on a high level though, introduce that mentorship program to you. I would say, Lawrence,
go ahead. Sorry. How would you do that at high level? I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, like, Lawrence, like the reason that we built Greenlight, I'm going to be honest with you, man, is we want to change people's lives from the inside out. Okay. Period. Like that's the model. We built a program that does just that. Okay. It's a program where you work hands-on with the coach for 12 weeks and we customize and we build your lifestyle inside and outside of the gym. Program is not cheap. Okay. It's a $3,000 investment. I'm transitioning immediately away from that.
So you say it like that. It's not cheap as a $3,000 investment. Mm. Really interesting. I think that's great. Yeah.
And then they kind of perk up and they're like, Lawrence, like where you're at today, like we need to get you consistently training, in here two times a week. So program I'm going to recommend that we start off on is our Fit Forever Foundation program. We're going to get you going with 2 strength training sessions at $79 a week. Mm. How can anyone say no to that? I mean, it's really hard to say no at that point. And that's why our closing percentage is so high.
What is your closing percentage out of interest?
Roughly. If it's anyone that comes in like from organic or anything comes in from referrals, probably 95 to 99% pulled traffic. It's still obviously probably closer to 60 to 65% pulled, right. Like old Facebook lead coming off of the streets. We don't sell very many, maybe 1 a quarter. We sell a cold mentorship off the streets. But the beautiful thing is we always plant that seed early on. We build it into our pitch to where we at least tell every single one of our future members about the mentorship program.
Do you think there's any difference in saying, rather than saying it's not cheap, just saying, hey, it's expensive, it's $3,000 or same thing?
You do that. Yeah.
I'm just curious. Yeah. How you think about that?
Yeah. 100%. It's one of those, I always like to, that's why I'm so passionate with working with all of my gym owners that we get to work with. It's not really the words you say, it's how you say it. Right. Like,
yeah, I feel like with you though, it's both. Like the word investment it's such a good word, right? Versus it costs. It's a cost. No, you're investing in yourself. I don't know if sometimes I think expensive might be better, just because someone who that is not expensive too will go, that's not expensive. $3,000, like no issue. Or no, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking rubbish, but I just wonder. I mean, it may make no difference, but just wonder if that's how the
lean on expensive. But there's certain personalities. There was a guy, Robert, gym owner in Orlando, we worked with, and he was just this fun-loving guy, just an absolute gunslinger. It's one of those like his passion and his energy and his body language and his tone. It was so in point. He could have said anything, and people would have bought. So. I think a lot of times, though, like I personally,
this is really good point. Yeah, conviction is everything, isn't it? Like
I joined my objection handling mastermind, and I joined it because I wanted like the scripts, right? It's like, okay, when they say, I have to think about it. What do I say? And my biggest takeaway by far going through a year and a half of that program, the scripts are really overrated. It's about the energy, it's the conviction and the passion that you have when it comes to overcoming objections. So you could butcher it, but if you're coming from a place of help and service and you're connected and you're acknowledging and asking questions, a lot of times you can throw the scripts out the window. But with that being said, definitely to say expensive over cheap every single time. But you're probably not, if you have that level of conviction, you're probably not going to lose very many sales either.
Yeah. Let's do, I've got time for doing one objection hand, if that's okay. What do you do in the, so the objection handle, if it's, I don't have time, Hormozy does the whole, it's not about time, it's bad information, and I have all the information. And I don't know if I like his one. I'm just curious how you handle it. So if someone says, oh, I don't have time, or I need to think about it, they say, what would you say to that? Yeah. What's your process?
Well, this is good. So the framework that I utilize for any objection in the world, acknowledge, ask a question. So Lawrence, hey, dude, you're perfect fit for my executive transformation program. The investment is $5,000. Are you ready to do this? if you would say, Dave, you're a psychopath, like that is absolutely insane. I'm still going to follow that framework. So I'm going to acknowledge. I'm like, Lawrence, like number one, man, like I appreciate you letting me know how you feel. So always acknowledge. So even if it is, I need to think about it. It's like, listen, like I get it. Like this is an investment. Like I completely understand you want to take some time and get this decision right. I do. Now I'm always going to ask a question. So first question I always ask I have to think about it is like, hey, like what specifically do you need to think about that you and I didn't have the chance to go over today? So I'm going to spin them right back on them. Key word there with I have to think about it is we. What exactly do you need to think about that we didn't have a chance? So we're on the same team. So that's the key word,
That's
right?
interesting.
I always want to make sure that we're on the same team. So like Lawrence, just curious, brother, like, is there anything specific that you need to think about that you and I didn't have the opportunity to chat about today? And then from there, it's going to, for the most part, money, right? It was just a little bit more money than I was looking to spend today. Spousal objection, or the third one is some type of fear-based objection. Oh, I don't make big decisions like this. I need to pray on it, like whatever that is. Typically from the I have to think about it when you're like, hey, what specifically do you need to think about? There's probably going to be 99% of the time it's going to be one of those.
Yeah. Let's go a layer deeper on some of those in a second. What if you just say, they say, you say, hey, I appreciate you saying how you feel about me being a psychopath. What is it we didn't get to address, or however it is you put it? What if they then just say, and maybe this is, I wonder if this is a cultural thing. I could be completely wrong, whether this happens more in like the UK and Ireland. Probably does, because we're more like, negative at times. But maybe you say that, what did we not get to talk about? And then they say, oh, I don't know. They might object again and kind of brush you off a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I don't know. It's just, I just need to think about it. Yeah. If they object again, what do you do? And then do you say, hey, I appreciate that. And then you don't push again, you leave it and say, hey, if you change your mind, if you change your mind, but let me know what you want to do in a few days or whatever it is. Right. Cause I think because I know a lot of people listening to this don't want to be pushy. And it's like, when do you know when to stop? So I'm curious what you would do in that instance. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That makes sense. Yeah.
For sure.
And
the
double pushback. Yeah.
The double I have to think about it. It's going to be more of in my experience, is going to be more of a fear objection, right? It's person that they've been burnt before. Like it's a person that they analyze everything. Like it's a fear objection at the end of the day. So
would you say, like, what are you worried about? You would say that, wouldn't you? Yes.
No, like,
no, okay.
I asked for a coaching moment. So with anything where I want to like talk to them and like coach them, I always ask for that permission. I think that's huge because then we're on that same side of the table. So if you get that double, I have to think about it. I'm like, Lawrence, like, listen, man, like, I get it. I do. Real quick though, do I have permission to be your Tony Robbins for the next?
I bet you're doing great, Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins. So like, once again, it had little to what you say, it's how you say it. Here's the one thing I know, guys. It's my obligation to be a coach right there. Because I know, just like every listener knows, if they get up and they have to leave to think about it, they're going to overthink about it. So take your freaking shot, have your coaching moment. So the coaching moment is where I'm going to bring back in their story. So Lawrence, they say, let's just say that you came in, like my coaching moment was like Lawrence, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to you that we build out a time efficient way to work out where you're in and out of the gym in 60 minutes? How important is that to you?
Yeah, it's really important, Dave.
Important. Okay. But even more important than that, I know your big driving force, the reason that you wanted to take this step is because you wanted to be just more present, more active, more energy for the kids. On a scale of 1 to 10, like how big is that in your life? On a scale of 1 to 10.
It's a 10, Dave.
Right? And the third thing, brother, is you wanted to have some decent sized deltoids, refill that polo. Like you want to have them best. So
yeah, but Dave, I don't have your genetics. I can't fit those boulder shoulders.
Exactly. You see, though, but I'm taking them through that.
Sure.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this to you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important? So you're bringing back in that.
So you're recycling that stuff. Yeah, reiterating it.
So at that point in time, I'm going to challenge them to do the program, right? So how does it serve you? This is one that everyone can write. This is what I got from my sales mentor. How does it serve you not starting this program right now?
Yeah.
you're all about the time efficient workouts. Like it makes sense to you, right? You want to become a better version of yourself as a dad. And you just want to have more confidence when you take your shirt off at the beach. That's what you want. How does it serve you not doing this program?
Mhm.
And from there, like if I don't know, I still need to think about it. Guess what? I still took my shot. I've never regretted having.
What do you say then when that happens?
It's at that point, you basically, you're going to have your no, right? If
You've
like,
used all your ammo. Yeah.
I've used my ammo. Like at that point in time, like they're not seeing eye to eye with
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
guess what I'm doing? I'm still going to set up a follow-up conversation the next day. So
Of course.
but I at least took my swing and I'm going to set up the follow-up conversation the next day. I get it. But I know 99.9% of the time, they're not going to show up for that follow-up conversation. So
Okay.
take your shot. You're never.
And then obviously you
regret.
nurture it and then you reach out later or whatever it is, right? Like you do with all of these leads.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to play that out, then it's like, I still need to think about it. And so you'll say, hey, I understand. Thank you so much for your time today. Let's reconnect tomorrow. Is it something like that? Is that how I love the specifics. So yeah.
Book the exact time right there. So like at that point in time, I'm like, I'm available tomorrow
Got it.
or 3:30, which time works best. So it's
Okay, Bam Fam. Book a meeting in a meeting? No, I can't remember.
Yeah.
The idea is you always book your next meeting in the meeting.
100%. So
Yeah.
it has to be booked within 24 hours too. So
Got it.
if it gets to that point where you have your coaching moment, it's like, hey, I get it. I still need to think about it. At that point in time, I'm setting up the follow-up conversation. And I'm really going to nurture them the next 24 hours too, right? Like I'm going to send them probably an audio note an hour after they leave, right? It's one of those, I'm just not going to just set it and forget about it and hopefully show up for the meeting tomorrow. Like at that point in time, I'm probably going to send them over like maybe hey, I told you that you reminded me of our client, Adam. Like if you have 5 minutes today, take a look at this video. Like Adam's mindset where he was at, it was very similar to where yours is current. So there's some things that you can do in there, but then I'm not in control at that end. The second that they get up and they leave, I mean, here in especially the US of A, it's election year. People just overthink everything at this point. So
Really?
always take your swing. Always take your swing. You'll never, ever regret having that coaching moment conversation and asking them, how does it serve you not doing this program? I've never, ever.
I think that's great. Just one more thing before we wrap up. You left a little carrot there. I'm curious because obviously you're right. The election is literally happening, isn't it? So, how does that dynamic impact, consumer behavior and specifically you've noticed in fitness?
Oh, people aren't showing for consults right now. Like probably the last 4 to 6 weeks, there's been this huge, the cancel out reschedule percentage is just absolutely skyrocketed.
Why? What is it?
Just election years in the US of A, man, it drives up uncertainty, fear. One side, the side is saying it's the end of the world, and then the other side is saying the end of the world. So it's just even
anxious.
I'm like all of a sudden I'm checking Twitter and I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on today. So nothing good comes from you checking, the news. And probably right now, 99.9% of Americans are checking multiple news sources, and that news source, the headline is probably something really negative. So
inflammatory. But why does that manifest in a no-show or a cancellation? Just distraction? What is that?
Overwhelm, stress, and just that little gremlin inside of their head saying, if this person's elected, am I going to lose all my money? Like there's just so much just uncertainty and overwhelm.
I see a increase in cancellations in terms of memberships.
Oh, it's awful.
Because the irony is it's the one thing that should give you solace and sanctuary, should be your workouts, right? It's like, that's the thing that you want to invest in because that's the force multiplier, right? Make you healthy. And that's what we need to be educating our clients on during this time, right? When because I remember Luke and Disco was showing such a wonderful job of doing it during COVID because there was fear and panic so much around COVID, right? And he did a great job of they did a great job of just articulating that message around investing in yourself, look after yourself right now. You're a mom, you're homeschooling your kids, you're trying to look after the household, you're trying to look after your husband, whatever. get some time for yourself. Go and protect the asset is actually how he put it. I thought that's just brilliant. Yeah. And it's so true. It's inspiring messaging. Yeah.
For sure.
So Dave, it's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry. Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. I think it's a really good. We talked about getting into some objection handling. That's one we could probably do multiple objection handling podcasts, because I know that's one that everyone has that little gremlin inside of their head saying like, oh, what do I say when this person says this? So future podcasts for sure.
Yeah, would love to always. But thank you so much again, Dave. Best way for people to connect with you and find out what you're up to. Where are we sending them again?
Yeah, so let's actually send them, believe it or not, to my personal Facebook page. So I'll send you over the link. That is where I want them to go to check out. We're doing I'm doing a lot of organic marketing for my personal Facebook page. So it should give you guys, the listeners, some tactics and tips on how we're putting out messaging to attract our dream client. So we'll start directing everyone to my personal Facebook page.
Is that not just Dave Bess, or is it like a complicated... Whatever.
It's probably, if they search up Dave Bess, there's probably going to be like 14 million of them to where.
We'll link it up from everywhere. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, send that to me. We'll link that up. Dave, thank you so much. This has been just packed with value as always. So this is Dave Bess and Lawrence with highintensitybusiness.com. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. This episode is brought to you by Imagine Strength, your go-to for safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training equipment. Growing a successful high-intensity training business requires workout equipment that's not only high quality, but also intelligently designed to fit the unique needs of your studio. And that's where Imagine Strength comes in. Drawing on the wisdom of the legendary Arthur Jones, Imagine Strength has crafted a groundbreaking line of fitness equipment that's as affordable as it is efficient, giving your studio the upgrade it needs without breaking the bank. The team at Imagine Strength breathes HIIT. Their passion for high-intensity training shines through in their designs, which they've consistently refined and innovated for optimum effectiveness and user experience. From my personal experience at Rec, I can attest to the careful consideration and craftsmanship that goes into every single piece. My Imagine Strength workout was absolutely brutal, in a good way, of course. Now, what makes Imagine Strength truly stand out? They have innovative equipment tailored for the unique needs of HIIT studios, affordable and efficient designs, lowering the barriers to entry for a HIIT business, continuous innovation and refinement ensuring your studio stays ahead of the curve. Founder Jeff Turner and his team are dedicated to moving the HIIT industry forward and making strength training accessible to more people than ever before. Here's how you get started. Number 1, visit imaginestrength.com. Number 2, discuss your specific needs with the team. And number 3, select the equipment that will propel your business to the next level. Head to imaginestrength.com today and give your HIIT business the Imagine Strength edge. Be part of the HIIT revolution and see firsthand how their unique equipment can transform your studio's workout experience. Elevate your HIIT business with Imagine Strength.
Let's go.